Hi everybody, Joe here from SHUTTERSPEAK Photography. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about 3 different plugins made by Infinite Tools. The first we're going to take a look at is the Infinite Radiance plugin. The second is the Infinite Color, and the third the Infinite Looks plugin. All for Photoshop, and they all kind of do similar things. And hopefully when we go through these, you're going to be able to decide, if you're looking to make a purchase on these, which one of these 3 kind of similar plugins are right for you. Now, they all affect color in one way or another. In terms of color grading, they all have some features that the other plugins don't. And again, we're going to go through these. And hopefully, if you're looking to make a purchase, or maybe you're going to watch this video and decide to purchase one of these, again, the goal here is to help you make a good decision on which is right for you. So, before we get started though, I'd just like to take a minute to say thank you for watching, and if anything in this video does help you out, if it helps you make a good purchase decision, or you decide to buy one of these plugins or not, just do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. That would help me out. So you can help me out for free by just hitting the subscribe button, and I really would appreciate that. So thank you in advance. And also feel free to hit the like button and leave me a comment as to maybe which one of these tools you think is the best of the 3. I'd love to hear from you, and I do answer almost all of the feedback that I get on the channel. So anyway, getting that all out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at these 3 plugins. Let's get started. Okay everybody, so let's just take a quick look. This is the website for Infinite Color, the Infinite Color panel. And again, it's essentially a color grading tool, and we're going to take a look at that. We're going to look at Infinite Radiance, I can't say that word today, Infinite Radiance. And what Infinite Radiance does is it's going to adjust the luminosity values of different colors in your photos. So we'll take a look at that. And then Infinite Looks, which is again a color grading panel, but it works a little bit differently, so we're going to take a look at that. Okay, so let's get started. So first thing I'm going to work on is I'm going to work on this image here. Okay, it's a portrait with obviously a bunch of different colors, and it's a great choice to take a look at for the Infinite Radiance panel. So the way Infinite Radiance works again is it adjusts the luminosity values of different colors. So for example, if we wanted to, say, adjust the pink areas here in this image, we could do it in 2 ways. So we could either adjust the slider here to the opposite color, so it's kind of in the reddish, so we would kind of move towards the cyan side, okay, and that would kind of cut this color balance, or we can move up towards this similar color and add to the luminosity of this color. So again, just got to remember RGB, the opposites of RGB are CMY. So if you want to reduce red, you could add cyan. If you want to reduce green, add magenta. If you want to reduce blue, add yellow. And the opposite is also true. You want to add yellow, reduce blue. If you want to add magenta, reduce green. If you want to add cyan, you can reduce the red. So, that being said, as soon as we start to move the slider here, what's going to happen is it's automatically going to create a layer for us. So if we want to try and increase maybe those pinkish tones here, we'll move up this way, and we just kind of move around a little bit, and you're going to see it adjust in real time. And you see it's already made a layer for us with a mask, which is fantastic, and it's labeled Infinite Radiance. So, I mean, that's really perfect. We couldn't ask for much better. If we wanted to reduce these tones, again, we could just go the opposite way, and it's kind of darkening them, although it really should, I guess it's kind of washing the color out of them. Yeah, it kind of does. So yeah, so it's really kind of reducing that pink tone more towards the red side. So just kind of feel your way around how you like the image, and if we wanted it somewhere over, let's say over here, all we have to do is just let go, and the change is already made. Now we can reduce the amount by using this slider here. You know, all the way up to 200%, but 100 looks fine, and it's giving you the RGB values right here. Okay, we could kind of reshuffle. Now, if we reshuffle, basically we're letting the software kind of give us ideas, which is nice. And if we had picked something, we can replace it with this button here. And then if we wanted to add a second layer, we would just hit this button. So, you know, once we get this to about where we want it, I'm going to put it up here. You know, we just have to let go. And now, one of the nice things about this, I'm going to close the panel, is here's the before, here's the after. If we didn't like the way it affected something, all we have to do is now just go onto the mask. It's already there, and just brush it out with black. So if I wanted to keep, say, these skin tones, now all I have to do is start brushing back in the skin tones, and in just a couple of seconds I have back the tones, and I've affected the pink. So let me just get the skin area here. Alright, so now let's take a look, before and the after. So again, everything's much brighter there. It's really kind of softened everything out and given us a little bit more of a pinkish tone here, which is nice. If we could go back, and if we wanted to add now you know, something with the greens, or maybe we didn't like the way the greens looked, or we just really wanted to let's see, really just pull out those greens, we could do that, and now just hit the add button and we have a whole new panel. Now again, we could just fill this, shift backspace will fill this with black, and now if we paint with white, okay, we can now selectively pull in areas that we want to affect. So if we just wanted to affect these greens by darkening them, essentially what we did here was we just added blue, and it's darkening up these greens. And just like that, again, maybe we want to darken this also. Okay, and there we go. So, quick before and the after. Before and after. So we kind of have, I think I missed a little bit in here. That's okay. Oop, nope, that's the wrong color. I'm supposed to be painting with black in there. Yes, it definitely did. So again, you can see how quickly we can make some changes. And again, this is just affecting the luminosity of these colors. It's not applying any new colors to the image. It's just bringing out what's in your image. So let's take this, and we're going to group them together. Maybe we won't. Well, we will. And we're going to name this Radiance. Hey, I said it right that time. Okay, let's put these in Radiance. Okay, now I'm going to shut Radiance off. Let's close that up. Now I'm going to show you the next tool. Okay, now this is Infinite Color. Okay, so now what Infinite Color does is this is more of a color grading plugin. And we have a couple of different options. We can hit Create, and it's going to create an effect for us. It's kind of random, and we do have some options. Now Harmonize is a little bit different. It tries to even out the color tones, and we have some options here of things that we can turn on and off, and Reshuffle in terms of the looks that it gives us. So all you got to really do is just hit Create. It's going to create a group, and it creates an effect for us. Now, if we didn't like a particular effect, we could say, well, I'm not crazy about the selective color. Let's reshuffle that. And maybe the color lookup table that it used, not so crazy about that, so shift that. All right, so now that starts to look nice. I kind of like these soft pink tones, and this starts to work. And you see how Infinite Color has made all of these different options for us, all these different menu items in Photoshop using different plugins, curves, color balance, selective color, and a gradient, and the color lookup table. And now we have full control over all of these, and what we can do now is just go in and turn them on and off and see how they affect different parts of the image. And by doing that, once we understand how each one of these affects different parts of the image, we can kind of go in now and tweak them a little bit. So if, say, curves is a little bit too much for us, we can just lower the opacity of curves and kind of get this to where we like it. So let's bring that down to 60. Let's see what color balance does. That looks nice. I'm going to leave that. Selective color. That kind of is darkening up things in here, but maybe a little bit too much for my taste. So I'm going to lower that a little bit just by dialing the opacity back a little bit. And let's bring that down, and now let's look at how the color lookup table is affecting things. It's really actually kind of making a nice change. I kind of like that. So, and you can see the opacity is already set at 25% automatically by the software. So now I have the option of bringing this way up or way down. And if I bring it way up, actually it starts to create a very different kind of look. And maybe I might like it there, maybe let's say 40%. So again, this is just something that it created. It gave us this idea to do this whole soft kind of pinkish hue look to the image, and I kind of like it. It's kind of nice. So that was kind of fun. So let's take a look at Radiance. Again, Radiance only affected what we had in the image, what we had to work with. So that's the original Radiance. We kind of warmed up everything in here. You know, we changed the greens, darkened them a little bit, and we changed these tones in here, made them a little bit more purplish, magenta, whatever you want to call this. Okay, so that looks nice. Infinite Color kind of gave everything a pink hue to it, and again, it just throws ideas at us, and that's kind of fun, and we really got to tweak everything. So let's now deactivate that, and now let's go to this visualizer. And the visualizer is, I gotta refresh the image, going to give us different ideas. And again, it's a color lookup type of plugin here. But this one has a little bit more options. So by hitting medium, we can now preserve skin tones. Okay, so that's nice. And now we also have these randomness sliders, so we can control the amount of contrast from minimum to maximum and the amount of color from minimum to maximum. Okay, and as we move those sliders, you see it affects the idea. So this is the middle option, and then these are our choices. So let's say we like this one the best. It's going to reshuffle and show us a lot of images similar to that look. Let's say we like this one better. We could just hit over here. Maybe we like this one, and it continues to refine what we like. So if we start to like a lot of this type of look, we can lower the amount of color changes all the way down. You can go all the way down to minimum, and now it's going to give us a bunch of looks that are very similar to this one. So maybe I like this one. Okay, and then if I do, all I have to do is hit the button here to add it. I can replace if I already had an existing one. I can of course reshuffle them, or I could favorite it. But let's say we want to add it. I'm just going to hit this add button. Okay, and it's automatically applied to the image. Now let me close this box up. And we don't have the same amount of control with the sliders that Infinite Color did, but we kind of had that control within the panel itself. Okay, and again, of course, we can still, you know, affect this by changing the opacity if we wanted to. Let's take a look at the before and after. If we wanted to just maybe warm up the skin tones, again, we could just, let's say we just want to warm up the skin tones a little bit. I'm going to bring my opacity down to maybe 40%, and I'm just going to paint in with some black, and that's going to start to warm up our skin tones and bring back what we had from the original image. Let's get these down here, and I know you don't see a lot of change here because it's kind of subtle, but the change is there, and we'll take a look at the before and after in a minute and just get through all of that there. So we already did preserve the skin tones in the plugin, but I just wanted to bring a little bit more of the skin tones back. And you know what, I might even actually bring this up a little bit just to speed things up. I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger. Okay, and forgive me for not being very precise, but if I was precise, we would be watching this video all day long and we'd never really get to the comparison, so we definitely don't want that. Okay, so again, let's just take a look at the before and the after. So again, that's kind of nice. It just does soften things down, and that's kind of what I do like, how it affected the colors here. I like how it affected things here. I do like a little bit more of the warmth in there, and again, that's something that I could just brush in, right? Let's just brush in a little bit more of the warmth over here and over here. Okay, so before and after. So now let's take a look at the difference between Radiance, Infinite Color, which really was a big change to the image, and then Infinite Look. So, and between Infinite Color and Infinite Look, do I think we probably could create the exact same look? Yeah, but these are plugins that really just give you ideas and get you to a starting point. And again, like for example, if I wanted to add another look to this, I certainly could. So I could just go kind of crazy with this and say, well, you know what, I like the way it affects this part of the image here. Maybe I like this green look here, and all I have to do now is say add, and it'll create another layer for me here. And now I can now just take this and say, all right, well, let's bring that. That's a lot of green. We don't want that much, but I do like the way it affects some of the image. And now, again, you know, we can just kind of play around this to the heart content. Maybe green wasn't the best choice, but you get the idea. So that's kind of how that looks. Let's take a look at a different image. I'm going to go with a landscape this time. So let's take a look at a landscape, and again, let's start with Radiance, and let's see how we can kind of affect the image with Radiance. So just by dragging this around, you can see we can make different changes, and we can see how these changes affect the image in real time, which is kind of fun. And so if I like that, all I got to do is let go, and the change is applied. So there we go, before and after. Now if we went with Infinite Color, let's hit the Create button, and that gives me a wildly blue tone. I'm not so crazy about that, so let's just hit that Create button again. That kind of gave us a pink. Hit it again, let's see what else. Okay, that's kind of neutral. It did bring up the greens quite a bit, but you know what, I kind of like that, so let's leave that. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could just kind of dial it back a little bit, and before and after, not a big change, it's a subtle change, but I also have the opacity down quite a bit. Let's bring that up, and let's take a look before and after. So that gives you a little bit of a different choice. And then let's go again with the Infinite Looks. Let's refresh so it sees our current image, and let's say maybe I like something like that, and I like what it's doing there. So let's bring that down and get some more similar looks. Let's bring it down even further, and let's say I like this one. Let's go with that one. Let's add that. Okay, so that's nice the way that looks there, but I'm not crazy about the way it affected some of the image. Again, we can, let's just miss the birthday notification. You can bring that back a little bit and just kind of add a little bit of the look in there, and that's kind of nice. And again, we can create as many layers like if we wanted to. Again, let's refresh the image and maybe go with, again, something a little more wild. Let's make the blues crazy, why not? And we'll add that in there, and then now we just have to dial this back, of course. And maybe if we didn't want it in this area right here. Let's bring the opacity up to 100%, and we can just mask that out right there. Right, and we have a look. So pretty quick, pretty easy. And again, just comparing Radians, which did a nice job bringing out some of the colors in the sky and darkening this up a bit. Infinite Color, and again we have an Infinite Look. Again, we have a million different options here, and you know, if we combine these, we really actually could kind of, like with Infinite Radiance and Infinite Color, by combining them we really have a real solid look also. So let's take a look at one more image, and let's just take a look at, again, the Infinite Color. Let's just see what Harmonize does for us in an image like this. So I'm going to hit Harmonize, and it's going to try and just even everything out, and let's see the look that it gives. Okay, so not crazy about that. So let's just take that and say, no, we're not going to go with that. Let's create a look. Nope, not crazy about that. Getting closer. Try it one more time. Not bad. So before, after, I kind of like the way it did that. Maybe this selective color might be a little bit too much for my taste on skin tones. So let's just mask that out right there. And so as simple as that, Infinite Color has given us a nice look. So I like that. That did a nice job. And let's take a look at what the visualizer would have done. And again, let's kind of reshuffle, see what we get. Let's see, I'll kind of maybe lean towards here a little bit. Leaning towards here. Let's bring the colors down. Let's get closer to something like this. We are preserving the skin tones. We could go all the way up from medium to maximum if we don't want to affect the skin tones, or we could affect the skin tones altogether if we wanted to, just by changing this, and that's kind of fun. I kind of like the way that works. And let's say we like this one. All we have to do is hit add. So let's take a look at that, closing up the panel, and before and after. Maybe a little bit too dark for my taste, but again, just bring the opacity down then, and let's see what we got before and after. Did a nice job. And Infinite Color, actually I kind of like that one the best. That did a nice job. And I didn't go with Infinite Radiance on this, because if I do, again, there's not a lot of varying color tones to this. We definitely could bring up the radiance of certain colors here, but I don't think it's necessarily appropriate for this image. If I did it, you know, maybe go with something like that, but then just mask it out of the face. And let's just see how that looks compared to Infinite Look or Infinite Color. And again, personally, I like the Infinite Color, I think, the best out of this one. Maybe it might have a little bit too much blue still, but you know, that's something that we can dial back even with the opacity. You just kind of dial that back a little bit and maybe bring that down. And I kind of like it. So there you have it, 3 different images, 3 different plugins, but all again very similar plugins. And again, if you're looking for one of these, it's a tough choice, especially if you're looking at the visualizer versus Infinite Color. Certainly the visualizer is going to give you a tremendous amount of choices, and again, you can add layer and layer on top of these, but the same goes for Infinite Color. So again, if we just wanted to add, you know, another one right on top of there, well, actually I think what I just did was replace it, because I didn't create a new layer. But you know, in that case, what really we should have done was created a new layer, and we could have created another look for it. But you know, of course, we could just step back through our history tool, right back to there, and we're good to go. So there you have it, 3 different tools, 3 different capabilities, but they're all kind of similar. Again, Radiance is something I think, if you're working with an image like this, that's the tool to go for. If you do want to just do, again, color grading, you have a choice between the Infinite Look or the Infinite Color panel. depending on how much control you want, you may want to choose one over the other. If you're very comfortable in Photoshop, maybe Infinite Color is a better choice for you than Infinite Look, but they both have their place. Infinite Look is a little bit more simple, and it kind of gives you a this is what you're going to get feel. Okay, and you can do a ton with any of these. Don't get me wrong, they're all great choices. So there you have it. I hope this video has helped you out make a decision on which one of these is right for you. If it did, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I certainly would appreciate it. And if anything in this video has helped you out, that's the best way to help me out. It is kind of still a new channel, and again, that's something that's appreciated by me. If you have a question, feel free to leave it in the comments box. I will try and get to it and answer your questions. And also, if you have a preference to which one of these three tools you think is the best, let me know in the comments box. Which one of these would you purchase? Would you purchase Infinite Radiance, Infinite Color, or the Infinite Look panel? Let me know why. Let me know your thoughts on this, and again, I appreciate you watching this. Thanks for watching YouTube, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.